What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks. And we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks. Cause True Talks, alright? Let's get straight right into it. Man, so you already know that last night, was a pretty, it was a solid game. Well, supposed to be a solid game. Obviously, matchup wise, the Pelicans aren't fully in the, they're not fully in where they want to be in terms of rankings and stuff like that, because obviously they want to be at least 8 seed moving up. Let me do my due diligence and actually check what seeding they actually are, just to make sure, you know what I'm saying? The Pelicans, I know they're bottom somewhere like that. Not fully bottom, but yeah, they're 9th, 10th, 11th right now. They're 11th right now in the West. You know what I'm saying? They're only, 4 games out from the 8th seed. Remember, there's a play-in tournament between the 7th and 10th seed, so they're only 2 games out of the play-in tournament. So you always want to be in between 7 and 10 to make a fight, right? So obviously, right, this is obviously a big game for the Pelicans. So, when you're a top team, the Clippers are 4th right now. When you're a top 4 seed or whatever, you're going to always have the other team play their best against you, right? They're always going to come out and try and make a statement, because it's not just about sending a message to you that they could beat you. It's mainly sending a message to themselves as a team, the coach, and, sending a message to just the team, and they use this kind of as a turning point for their season. Yo, we could beat the Clippers. Yo, we could beat this team. Yo, we can be elite. We just have to turn it around. We just have to do X, Y, and Z. Like, it's a statement for themselves, kind of like challenging themselves, testing where they are at, and testing where their team is at, right? Individually and collectively. So you're always going to get that. These games are never a game where you can just walk in the park, especially as an ESPN national coverage type of game. Like, it's never going to be a walk in a park, it might be a walk in the park if you're just slapping them, but never just a walk in the park. You just go through the motions and they're just going to fold. These are NBA players. These are still NBA teams, and every man is fighting for the next contract. There's so many things at play. Any marquee matchup, I'm going ham, right? So you can't keep your foot off of the gas. You can't relax. You know what I'm saying? You can't relax just because you slapped the Warriors. Like, you can't relax like that. And you're on the road too. So I know it's not the same road type of game, with COVID, but there's still a 1-2 fan. You still take pride in your home, right? Different rims, all that type of stuff, right? So let's, look at what happened. Just, obviously the Clippers got blown out, and obviously, there's a, Kawhi saying that they're inconsistent and is very concerning and stuff like that. And like I told y'all, my worry from before was at a 5, just from the clutch, right? So now, yeah, you're getting blown out to the Pelicans and stuff like that. Like, Pelicans aren't scrubs, right? They're even underachieving. But just in general, just getting blown out, period, right, is just never a good look or a great look or even any type of look, right? So you got to look at it from that perspective. So you already know we're going to go into that context, because I give it that context. Let's go straight right into it, boy. So you already know, obviously, it's a blow. So we don't need to break down, right? But we're still gonna break down. We're gonna do the softer type of breakdown when you put me in the corner. I'm gonna just talk about concerning things, you know what I'm saying? Like, I already told y'all, like I just previously said, the fact that me, I don't overreact to things. I react to things, but I don't overreact, you know what I'm saying? I don't overreact. I get cheese because I only, you understand how I roll is the things to other people. Remember, people are biased, right? I don't really have biases, right? I have people who I like. I have favorites. I have things that are elite. But at the end of the day, if they're sussing, I'll call it like it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really when it comes to y'all outside of this, obviously you have your biases. You have who you want to win, who you like, whatever. But when I'm here doing, my due diligence, and I'm giving content and I'm giving context and stuff like that, I don't apply my biases. I erase it, because at the end of the day, it's about being genuine and being honest to what elite is first and to what the game is first, right? And to just the authenticity of the game, and then everything else second. That's how I roll. Because I don't want to spew oh, and just, biases. Y'all think I might have biases because y'all have biases. So because I'm not saying what you want to hear, you think that I have a bias when it's cap. Eventually, couple games or whatever down the line, y'all realize, okay, he's not capping. He was just being harsh before. And that's the thing too. I'd like to call it out before, way before it actually happens, just to show y'all, like, pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. This might reoccur. This might be the reason. This might be the downfall, right? And I kind of do that earlier than everybody else does it, so people be like, he's being extra. He's overreacting. No, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? I know what is something that could actually be catastrophic and something that's kind of just, going through the motions, and it's not really that serious. They'll turn it around. Like, I don't pay, I'm not worried, right? So you kind of have to know. And just by how you watch them perform and how you know who the player, the caliber of player is, and all that type of stuff, right? So with Kawhi, I tend to, not give too much concern with things because I've seen it myself. I've seen it multiple times. We've seen it here in Toronto. We've seen that he's the type of guy that all guys, him, KD, LeBron, right? All the Kyrie, the elite guys of that caliber will always rise their level of play come playoff time. You know what I mean? The ones who you have to be skeptical of the other guys. I'm not even going to list them and get into a debate here. But there is guys who are still elite players, but playoff time, they might either do what they normally do or it decreases a little bit. They don't really fully rise it, right? So that's where you're kind of like, I don't believe the regular season shit, whatever. But the guys who are snapping in regular season, they're only that are the guys who would increase anyways in playoffs. That's why you're like, oh my God, this is elite, right? So Kawhi is one of those guys. He's one of those guys that I already know he's going to times 10 in the playoffs. So I don't really have too much worry for him. And we've seen that last year. There's no worry for him, but the team around him, there's worry for, right? You got to understand there's worry for, especially when you have multiple guys who could score and all this type of stuff. How they move during the regular season affects their confidence going into the playoffs because they're not top tier like Kawhi. It doesn't matter. I'm here regardless, right? So that's things you got to pay attention to. And that's things where I kind of was like, So now, that's last year. Now when you go into a bubble situation, and what was the downfall of them? Clutch situations, because every single game they lost, when they lost a 3-1 lead, and they lost, the 3 straight games, all of those 3 straight games, they were still up double digits. So it wasn't the fact that just that game itself, they underperformed. They performed well. And then when it comes to clutch, they're pushing a run. They're fighting against you. It's not just, they're just not sitting there backing down and, succumbing to the 19-point lead, 12-point lead. They're not just falling. They're actually putting pressure on your neck. We come back. Are you dumb? We have nothing to lose. We don't throw in the towel. How do you respond to that? Do you tap into a higher, now you have to tap into a higher tier of clutch. You came through when the pressure's here. We start out the gate, kill it. But now and then they attack you back. Do you have that next tier? Forget what you just did. That don't matter now. It's a tie game. What are we doing? Can you handle the next level of pressure? And that's where the Clippers as a team folded. So this is what I try to tell people. And it's going to come full circle. And I'm going to explain it even just in this game itself and why there's things. It's just kind of setting up the table for things that are concerning. What I try to tell people is that you have to understand that. Let me explain it like this. Who you really are gets exposed in these certain moments. What I mean by that is like what I'm talking about with the bubble, right? When you just come out the gate and just because of your talent, you snap and you're killing and you're blowing out. But in the playoff time, right? First round, that's why first round you don't see too much of a worry because first round, the chances of them, when you come out the gate slapping them, they're going to be demoralized. They already know they're not on your par. They're already palm sweaty, all that type of stuff. They're not going to fight against you. There might be one game they do it, but it's not really ever that serious. It's not really ever that pressure. So it's light work, right? But take it in for the bubble. And that kind of was a flash to what might transpire when you saw it because the Mavericks weren't just any first round team, right? When you look at versus the Clippers. They had Porzingis come out, and yet they still pushed to 6 games. Game winner, all that type of stuff. So you kind of seen the theme already. But even then, normally when you just come out the gate, you snap, team either folds, and that's it. But when you go, the further you get in rounds in the playoffs, the first punch you give they're going to come back with the next punch. They're not just scrubs. These are guys fighting for their life. They know that they're on this caliber. They also have a goal to win a ring, all that type of stuff. So you're going to get slapped back with, that same aggression, that same pressure back. Can you now handle that and now hit them again? You have to see how deep can you go. That's where you now continuity. That's where now team chemistry. That's where now personnel. That's where now hierarchy. All those little things that don't really seem that much of a factor in blowouts and in, when you're facing a team that's hella, not even on your tier or hella fugazi compared to you. Now when you're facing teams that are comparable, you're going to see those things are more crucial. Those are things that propel you over the top, right? Those are things that now you're going to see that team's going to break. The team breaks in certain moments like that. Oh, now they just trying to go to Kawhi. Now Louisville's trying to, that continuity, all of that team chemistry, all that, consistency, all of that type of stuff matters when now you have to go as a team, dig deep. It's like you're doing a workout and, you're jogging, whatever, and that's light work. But now when you're on minute 30, now when you're on workout 4 within that same workout, when you're on set 10, all that type of stuff, you have to dig deep. That's where you now really see, are you really strong? Have you improved your strength? All that type of stuff. It's not at the first beginning. That's light work. It's when it gets to rep 6, rep 7, rep 8, that type of stuff. And that's when you really see, is my strength improving? My fatigue? Is my core really proper? Am I getting gassed? All that type of stuff. And that's the same thing with the team, right? The further you go, the more things get exposed. When you're a tight knit, Are you really a tight knit, or were you just coming in as a, did you get broken early? All that type of stuff. So this is where I look at it from this perspective in terms of this game, in terms of the clutch, those other games, right, that we saw leading up to the All-Star break with the Clippers. The clutch to me was very concerning because everyone knows playoffs is only clutch. Playoffs is only big pressure. Playoffs is only palm sweaty. That's what that is. That's why you see regular season is a complete different season. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that y'all were moving like that coming into the All-Star break, I was more concerned. You know what I'm saying? So you look at it from that perspective, that's where I was like, don't tell me we're doing this bubble shit again. I'm concerned. Y'all, it's not just the fact that y'all are missing. I don't care if you win the game and don't win the game. That doesn't, obviously it matters, but it's not like the main story. The main story is, how do you move? What plays are you running? Are you guys looking like a tight-knit unit? How are you guys moving? The Clippers didn't look like that. The Clippers looked like, just random parts like they looked like in the bubble. Random parts trying to fit together. I'm going to do me, didn't work. You do you, didn't work. I'm going to do, didn't work. Like, it's just helter-skelter. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like solid. Then even the actual game plan, like the triangle that Ty Lue tries to implement, they now, when pressure comes and it's kind of like it's tight, the other team is hidden, they're snapping, they're going to work like you've seen versus the Nets. Now we get out of our sets. We get out of what we do. Now we just try and ISO back. And that's kind of the common theme I noticed with the Clippers. Whenever the other team is putting in work or your defense isn't stopping things and they're scoring, the Clippers try and match back and they do ISO. Like each person individually says, I'm going to take over and bring us back. Put the team on my back. And that's clash. You can't move like that. You only have to have your solidified PG, Kawhi, those two guys do that. And everybody else still play within the flow. And don't change what you're doing. And that's called hierarchy. Those things affect. Because now when Kawhi, PGC, let's say Lou Will trying to do this, or Marcus Morris trying to do this, or Reggie Jackson trying to do this, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, now it takes little things. Now when Kawhi has a shot, easy one more to the guy there. He's going to pump fake try and then late one more. So now you take out the flow. Now that guy has to ice. So like there's so many chain reaction things that matter or that affect just from the little thing of just not having a hierarchy. Because when you have a hierarchy, that guy's going to want more because he knows his role. And then Kawhi knows I could want more because I'm going to get it. It's me. Anytime I ask for it, we're going to stop the whole play and I'll get it. It don't matter. So when I get it, it's not about me taking this time to just get a bucket. It's about me, I'm going to hit you. And and it's contagious. Because when your star does that, now the role player does that. And the role player knows my role isn't to get bare buckets. If I get it, I get it. It's just a flow thing. For everybody else, it's always a flow thing. For the main guys, they're the bucket getters. They're the guys who worry about my touches. But everybody else, it's a flow thing. And that's why I try to tell people, like, that when you look at the Nets, it's a perfect balance. And I'm going to explain what I mean later on. So, let me not stay too long on that. So let's talk about just the last game, right? So that's what my concerns were, and those were high concerns. It made me go to a 5 on my scale out of 10 for alert. 10 meaning, it's worry. 1 meaning I'm not that worried. 5, it made me jump to 5. From like 1, 0 to 5. Just off those consecutive games in the clutch. Now, I'm going to like a 6, maybe 6, 7-ish. Maybe I'll say 6.5 because based off of just this game, just this blowout, because it's not about the fact that they got blown out. Yes, you don't want to get blown out, but what transpired in this game? One, I'm like what Kawhi said, inconsistency. It's not just inconsistency of the missing and the shooting, because again, they're top in the league with 3-point percentages. They're second in the league in field goal percentages, right behind the Nets. The Nets and Clippers are 1 and 2, interchanging in 3-point and field goal, right? The Nets 1 in field goal, Clippers 2 in field goal. Clippers 1 in 3-point, Nets 2 in 3-point, right? They're the most efficient teams offensively, right? But the problem with, like you see in this game, which I'm going to start showing the clips, is 1, defensively. You're seeing inconsistent schemes. Inconsistent, just defensive, just schematically, you're seeing inconsistencies in how they move. Like when we look at the Nets, and I'm using the Nets because they're a team that is being, ridiculed and, oh my God, they were never going to be good. They're not this, no, it's not going to work. And then now it's working and it's thriving and they're under the radar. So the Clippers, when they were working and thriving, they were under the radar. This is why I have these two teams. These are the two scale teams I look at because they're 2 elites and 2 under the radars, and they have a lot of fake narratives about them that are cap. So that's why I'm using the Nets because, again, the Nets are right now the better version of what the Clippers are, right? But we're going to look at why. That's why I'm using the Nets, okay? So the reason why, if you look at it, the Nets, like I showed y'all before, they switch everything. They have their schemes. They switch everything. Rarely do you see them even fight through anything. They have a defensive principle that every time we switch, we don't care if we have a mismatch. We'll deal with the mismatch at hand. When there's a mismatch, now we'll throw in soft doubles, hard doubles, rotate, force them to skip. Then we rotate. Like, they have a scheme that they do every single time. There's no confusion. This is what we do. To the point of, without even moving, you'll see the team have like 3 guys doing an action. And these men won't even move, and they'll just know he switches to him. And then that guy's leaving, switching to him. They don't even move. They'll switch like 3 times, multiple times. Boom, 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 without even moving. All 3 men just know. Boom, 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 boom. I had this guy, now he moved, and he went over there. I had him, and they just won't even move. And they just, based on how the guys move, the triangle just switch. And they just look. And sometimes they just pick up. Literally like Golden State, during their dynasty, the ring situation. And I'm like, yo, that's when you have continuity. That's when you have consistency. That's when you have, okay, if we're not locking up, it's maybe a guy's just killing. But like, that's why you don't see the Nets just go through consistent, no stop. And it's even worse now because the Nets before, it's like their tempo was high. You can now score with them. Now that the Nets are even able to have bad shooting performances from Harden, bad shooting performances from Harris, and still win the game by even a 10-point, 8-point, whatever. Because they're still locking people. They're not even scoring 120s right now. They're even scoring low. They're having low-tier games, struggling a little bit. They're 3-point shooting, whatever, and still winning. So they're literally locking up. They're literally outscoring. Like, they're doing all of that. Now, when you look at the Clippers, just focus on the defensive side. The Clippers right now, I'm watching inconsistencies even in their defense. What I mean by that is you'll see one play they switch, and I've said this even from last year. It's inconsistencies. One play they switch, next play they don't switch. One play they switch, next play you'll see them trap the pick and roll. So I'm talking about with picks involved. You'll see them, let's say Kawhi PG, perfect switch. Next time they don't switch, they fight through. Next time, hard hedge, it becomes a trap. Then it leads to a chain reaction. Why are you trapping on that guy with the low shot clock? It doesn't make any sense. If anything, just switch. You know what I'm saying? Why you, like, just inconsistencies, and it leads to bare easy buckets. It's like you never know what you're going to get. They're doing the same action. You never know how we're going to react off of it. And it's like one time we react, we switch, right? But it's a late switch because we're not sure, so they score. The next time we switch properly, we actually lock it up. The next time we soft hedge off the pick and roll, soft hedge, go back, they score. The next time we hard hedge, no rotation, they score. Like, it's so many inconsistencies in just the defensive schemes. And that just shows you that that's just lets you know, grand scheme wise, they're inconsistent in how they play, just in general. And this, I didn't even talk about the offensive side. You'll see now. Now let's look at the offensive side. The offensive side, right? You'll see them inconsistency with, okay, we're going to ISO, right? You start seeing them actually ISOing way more than they need to, right? And I know, you know me, I like ISO, I like ability. If you ISO'd every play for the whole game, I wouldn't even care. But at the end of the day, it's about having a perfect balance that works. Because at the end of the day, like, that guy has the ISO ability that he's gonna bail you out. Like, you're gonna get ISOs, even if you ran, like we've seen with Golden State. Perfect example again, the Nets. The Nets have, this is the difference between the Clippers and the Nets. The Nets have multiple players that, when they shoot threes, it's not just catch and shoot threes. They can shoot threes off curl screens. They can shoot threes off of movement. The Clippers don't have that. Their guy, the only one, is PG. PG can come off screens and shoot curl threes, and off screens shoot threes off of screens. Luo can do that. Kawhi somewhat, but mainly it's those three. But only, off of screens, like Joe Harris, like Klay Thompson, Landry Shamet, curl screens. It's only PG that could do that, and he's not doing that as much this year. So you got to look how their threes are coming. The Nets are getting open threes because if you have a double staggered screen, like, mans don't switch that. The big don't just switch that and pick up on Joe Harris. They leave them. They don't switch that and pick up on Shamet. They leave them. And then when they switch, that guy now comes back and next screen keeps going. Like, they have so much movement. People don't, it's like people just think the Nets is ISO because they have ISO gods, right? So you think that they just ISO. No. They ISO situationally. You know what I'm saying? Like, Harden will run the play, thing gets it. No. Harden will set the pick. Or they'll set a pick for Harden, try and hit him off the slip. No, they switch. Now I ISO and I kill you. Step back or blow by. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know what Harden's going to do. And then Kyrie, you already know. Multiple plays, nothing's happening. Kyrie just go to work, unlock you now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gets his ISOs off situational, pump fake, one, they swing, get it. No, nothing's there. Or they're trying to do bare movement. And then late in the clock, they're going to ISO and you already know he's going to kill. Like, they ISO situationally. I'm watching the Clippers ISO at the top of the clock. And the guys that they have as ISO aren't just always killing every man in ISO. He's posting up taller guys. He's killing Jeremy Grant in ISOs. Like, it doesn't matter who's on him. Kyrie, like, it don't matter. KD, you already know. It don't matter. They have two all-world, all-historic type of ISO elite guys. These other guys, ISO situation, Kawhi does his pick, 1-0 pull-ups. Kawhi's going to kill off the mismatch. He can still kill his primary defender, but it's like Kawhi's not trying to go to that. You can see him. He's trying to figure out the offense. You can see him. That's why he's doing a lot of more touch pass, ball movement. Okay, here. Sometimes he even has a mismatch. He's even going to post. He's setting off ball screens. It's like you can see they're trying to figure out things, right? And what I brought up with the threes in general, the Nets have multiple movement. You know what I'm saying? That's what my whole point of bringing up the threes. The Nets have movement, a lot of movement. You know what I'm saying? With their threes, because they have multiple guys who are threats, not one-dimensional threats. These catch-and-shoot guys from the Clippers are catch-and-shoot guys, right? And how they get the threes is dribble penetration, they help. Now you kick to the three or pick and pops, right? But when it's not working or when it's not there, the Clippers now, they're still in their mind, we're still going to shoot threes. They don't have a perfect balance of paint, threes, mid-range. Like, the Nets have everything. There's literally no negativity with them offensively. They have guaranteed alleys from DeAndre, guaranteed alleys from this guy. Bruce Brown at the free throw line, short rolls, floaters, if you know her. You know what I'm saying? They have all of that. Curl screens. Those guys who curl screens and still catch and shoot. They have Kyrie who's catching and shooting. Even Harden's doing a 1-2 catching and shooting. You have Kyrie ISO. You have Harden ISO. You have mid-range from Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? You have steady diet of everything. We didn't even add KD to this. The Clippers are supposed to have that with Kawhi and PG. They're supposed to be the KD and Kyrie of the team, right? But what happens? They're just isoing at the top. Step back. They're not going to the paint because Kyrie, remember, Kyrie's not just shooting. Kyrie attacks the paint too. He be doing left hand contact layups on Tice, on big man, like with his chest on their head top. Pause. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's a Harden. You already know is going to the paint. Bare floaters. Like, the Clippers stop going to the paint at times. A lot of the times, then they just do jump shot, quick jump shots, popping, quick early jump shots. And then when they're not hitting, when the Clippers are hitting, you already know. But when they're not hitting, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at when they're not hitting. Is there other things you could go to get easier shots? And that's where they struggle. Because when they're not hitting, right? When Clippers are hitting, you don't always, like, you never talk about a team when they're hitting. When they're hitting, that's 10 tier. That's their 10th level. That's their max level. But that max level isn't applied all the time. You have to look at what is on average, right? What is on average? Obviously, on average, they're hitting, obviously. But there's the games when you're not hitting. To be a championship team, the games when you're not hitting, still being able to win that game, you have to be able to go to other things because that's going to happen in the playoffs. You're not always going to hit every single game. Remember, your averages are your averages, but averages means there's some games you don't hit, there's some games you do. Like, it's an average. So you got to understand, when you're not hitting, are you able to win the game? We thought the Nets can if they're not offensively hitting, they're done. We've seen them during these winning streaks. We've seen them not hit at the rate that they hit. And still, Kyrie's going to get you he's going to get you a mid-range. He's going to get you a layup. Harden's going to do his floater, draw foul, right? Floater, throw alley. Like, you're going to get easy 2 points. They're not just shooting all threes. They attack the paint at times too. They hit floaters. They do multiple things. And then now, you get 1-3 here and there. Now they sleep off of Harris because Harden's been attacking. He's finally back on track. And then now they get, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can never cut nothing off. With the Clippers, if there's not hitting, it's like, what do they do? And that's what you see. And then not only on top of that, when they're not hitting, because they're still shooting early, they're still shooting threes as if they're hitting. Now you have bare transition. That's what the New Orleans was doing. Bare transition. Picking up Zion at half court for what? Like, bare lazy defense, backdoor, all the doo-doo defense, and then bare transition because of the missed shots. And then that literally would just change the game around even in the second quarter. And then when you look at it, that's where, for me, I rose my level of concern went up just a little bit. Because I'm like, yo, if y'all aren't hitting, y'all still can't find a way to score. Y'all still can't find a way to go to mismatch. Y'all can't find a guaranteed bucket. Obviously, we know Kawhi didn't struggle, right? Like, but Kawhi's touches only 13. Like, 13 shots, sorry. Like, That's not what he does. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, you still have more ball movement. I know that Kawhi's trying to figure out what's going on, right? And I know the Coach Lou and they're all trying to figure out what's going on. But you have to be able to go to something when nothing is working. You have to have some type of guaranteed play. With the Nets, the guaranteed play is a Harden step back, and even if it's not working, he won't even do the step back. He'll run the pick or he'll just do the blow by and try and do his floater and get to the rim or draw a foul or throw the alley. That's a guaranteed play for him. Or if not, they'll give it to Kyrie for they'll do whatever you do. That's guaranteed. And even let's say Kyrie and Harden are struggling, which has been some games. Then they'll do a curl screen. Let's get an open look. Harris come off the curl screen. If they're struggling off that, okay, you know what? We'll do Bruce Brown pick and roll, short roll. Give it to Bruce Brown, do a 1-2 floater. Get us something. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have so many weapons. And that's what I'm looking for from the Clippers. Show me your weaponry. Show me your ability. Get Lou Will, get him touches with the pick and roll. Let him go to his guaranteed. Like there's so many things you guys could go to. There needs to be some type of hierarchy and just the system in general. If you have a system, you have sets, you have plays, you have things you could go to that fit guys' ability, then you would be able to, even in drought, still get buckets. And that's what I'm looking with the Clippers. It's like, if they're not hitting threes, they still shoot. They have nothing else. They still shoot the threes. They don't even attack the paint. Like, it's terrible. It's terrible. And that's, for me, my only concern. And it's not a big concern because, again, a top-tier shooting team, do you expect them to just every game brick in the playoffs? No. That's why it's not a top tier concern, because this is an outlier. This is a number 1 shooting, 3-point shooting team. So it's an outlier. But for me, it's a concern because it could be a crucial game 6. It could be a crucial game 7. And this could be the game you're missing. We've seen it with Houston. I don't want, like, the Clippers should never, like, Clippers have PG, have Kawhi, that have elite ability. You should never be Houston versus game 7 versus the Golden State Warriors, where if they're not shooting threes and if they're missing, they have nothing to do. They'll keep shooting threes. Y'all, that's what y'all are basically doing right now. Y'all shouldn't even be on that. Y'all shouldn't even be on that tier. You should not even be even in the same breath of that team where it's like, oh my God, if we shoot threes, we keep shooting threes and it's not working. We just had an off night. It's done. No, you guys have mid-range ability. You guys have, Morris can do mid-range. Thing could do mid-range. Do the screen and rolls. And I'm noticing they're even doing less screen and rolls. Even when they're doing some of their screen and rolls into no space, and like, bruh, they have to figure some things out. And I know maybe it's just because, like, they're trying to do things. They're going through the motions. Maybe just because they thought they'll slap the team. But I notice this is a theme. Even versus good teams. If they're not hitting their shots, like, and you notice they even start shooting early offense. They'll shoot early within the shot clock. They'll shoot threes early. Like, they don't even keep move, pump fake, one dribble, go to the paint. You'll see Reggie Jackson is doing pump fake, side step 3. Like, come on now. That's like, is that really your bag? Pump fake, one dribble floater, still do you. Like, come on now, man. Like, that's what I don't like. That's my only concern in playoffs. Are they still going to do this 3 hunting bullshit? Like, me, you know me. I like ability. I like going for the threes, whatever. If it's open, shoot it. But sometimes they're forcefully shooting these threes. And that's something you don't ever want to see. And that's part of the reason why they got blown out. And why, if they're not hitting, it's a struggle for them. Or they be inconsistencies. And then now how they're even shooting their threes have changed from earlier in the season. How they were shooting their threes earlier in the season was a lot of penetration. Kawhi literally was still going to the paint. Remember, the Ibaka, that's what I said, the Ibaka factor. They have the whole paint, so Kawhi's still attacking the paint. Now they help off his penetration. Then you kick out to open threes, and you're getting wide open threes. They're not doing it that much right now. Right now, they're stopping short mid-range, and then they're kicking out without man's even collapsing. And then you're shooting threes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm seeing. It's like they're just, now they know that they're a 3-point shooting team because it's established that we're the top 3-point shooting team. Now it's like in their head that that's all they're trying to do. When you got your threes by not only trying to do threes. Yes, you got threes, but you weren't just trying to shoot threes. You were trying to attack, and because of that, man's help, now you end up getting the result of a 3, but that's not what you were trying to do. But now they're just trying to do the 3. So it's a different, little things like that just can make your team play differently. And that's what I'm noticing. That's like maybe they read the stats and they're feeling amped that they're a top tier 3-point shooting team, so they're like 50, 40, 90. You know how media and that's what's being talked about. It's like now you get in your head or whatever. Now, so you know what I mean? So I just want them to get back to what they know. Run your triangle. They're not even doing the triangle as much. Do what they need to do. Now it's not hella worry because they got blown out, but it's certain things happened. I don't like the inconsistency on defense schematically, and I don't like the fact that they just 3 hunt. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. Do your mid-range. Do like you're doing less and less of these things. So that's what more so is my worries, right? Other than that, I think they will still clean it up by playoff time. We'll see. They have a game today. I'm pretty sure they face it's a back-to-back. I'm pretty sure they face Dallas, right? They're at Dallas, right? And I'm pretty sure Luka will be available and stuff like that. Porzingis, like this is not a walkthrough. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how they move. We'll see how they go. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, you already know it's True Talks. Because True Talks, I appreciate y'all. Share, like, and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here and there's no drought here. You feel me? Again, bruh. Like, we'll see, man. We'll see. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I appreciate y'all. Like always, you already know. You gotta love it. Bruh. Atrocity. Kawhi, just take over, too. You also, too, like, Kawhi, just stop this. Like, do you, man. Do you. My goodness, man. Bruh. Isn't this what LA looks like? Come on now. You better go, bruh. Today, I better see work. That's what I better see. I better see. You feel me? Anyways, I appreciate y'all. You already know. And I'm out, man.